People think being indifferent will keep them safe. They are wrong. They tell themselves, it's not my fight, it's not my problem, I will stay out of it and stay safe. And it works for a while. They stay untouched while someone else takes the blows. They scroll past the story, they walk past the argument, they watch the injustice play out right in front of them, and they breathe a sigh of relief that it isn't aimed at them. But here's the truth no one wants to face. Silence doesn't keep anyone safe, it just delays their turn. They think they are escaping the fire by standing far away, but that fire grows. And when it finally reaches them, there's no one left to speak for them, because they taught everyone by their own example to stay silent. This is how modern cowardice works. Not with dramatic betrayals, not with big public acts of evil. No, it works with averted eyes, muted voices, and the quiet calculation: why risk my comfort for someone else? And yes, in the short term, it feels logical. Why put themselves in danger? Why take a stand if it's only going to cost them? Why be the one who gets hurt while others get to live their lives unbothered? But here's what they don't see. By protecting themselves in the moment, they are building the very world in which they will one day be defenseless. They are shaping a culture where everyone has agreed not to stand up for anyone. And when their time comes, when the knife is at their throat, they will be alone. Indifference doesn't keep people safe, it keeps them vulnerable. It keeps them dependent on courage they have refused to show. It keeps them spectators until the game is being played on their lives. And the tragedy is, most people don't even see it happening. They walk through life convinced that staying uninvolved is wisdom, that silence is maturity, that keeping their distance from other people's struggles is somehow a sign of emotional intelligence. They call it not getting dragged into drama, they call it minding my own business, they even call it protecting my peace. But in truth, it's not peace they are protecting, it's comfort. And comfort is not safety, comfort is a leash. They avoid conflict like it's a plague, forgetting that conflict is often the only thing that stops rot from spreading. They refuse to take sides, forgetting that not taking a side always means supporting the side that's already winning. They pretend neutrality exists in a world where power is never neutral. And yes, their calculation works in the short run. When trouble is still far away, staying quiet seems clever. It lets them pass through the world unnoticed. Nobody targets the person who refuses to stand for anything. Nobody attacks the one who's too busy staying out of it. But this is the illusion, that danger can be avoided forever. They don't realize that by never putting themselves in harm's way, they are also never putting themselves in history's way. They won't be remembered for their courage because they never exercised it. They won't be respected for their convictions because they never showed them. And when danger finally comes, not if but when, the absence of courage will crush them before the danger even does. People believe indifference is a shield, but it's really a mirror. It reflects back to them the kind of world they are allowing to exist. And the longer they hide behind that reflection, the more that world becomes dangerous to live in. Not for someone else, for them. Modern life doesn't just tolerate indifference, it manufactures it. People live in a system that quietly teaches them from the moment they wake up that safety is more important than conviction, that comfort is more valuable than courage, that staying in their lane is the highest virtue. Look at how their days are structured, a constant stream of conveniences that remove all friction, food delivered at the tap of a screen, opinions ready-made in headlines, entertainment designed to autoplay before they can even decide what to watch. Everything fast, effortless, smooth. And in that smoothness, something essential is lost, the daily resistance that once forged resilience. When life demands nothing of them, they stop demanding anything of themselves. And the result? Courage starts to feel unnatural, speaking up feels dangerous, disagreeing feels like a social crime, and in a culture where not offending is treated as the ultimate good, silence isn't just easy, it's celebrated. Modern life even rewards the ones who keep their heads down. At work, the quiet employee who never makes trouble survives. On social media, the one who sticks to safe, agreeable content grows followers. In politics, the figure who avoids taking a stance can appeal to more people. The message is clear. Conviction costs you, indifference pays. And then there's this illusion of abundance. They see thousands of problems every day through their screens, wars, corruption, injustice, and in that flood, every issue becomes someone else's problem. After all, what difference could one person make when the world is burning everywhere? Better to keep scrolling, keep consuming, keep pretending that awareness without action is enough. Even language has been reshaped to justify this retreat. I'm focusing on my mental health becomes a shield for disengagement. I'm staying out of negativity becomes a reason to avoid moral responsibility. Modern life is an endless buffet of rationalizations for doing nothing, and it dresses those rationalizations up as self-care. This is why indifference spreads so easily now, not because people are worse than they used to be, but because they are living in an environment designed to make bravery feel unnatural and cowardice feel comfortable. And in that comfort, they are slowly forgetting the truth every earlier generation knew. Safety bought at the cost of conviction isn't safety at all. It's a quiet kind of defeat. The greatest ambition for many now is not to live with courage or integrity, but to be seen living well. They treat their social media profiles like shrines, carefully curated with the right vacations, the right meals, the right causes reposted at the right moments, as if existence itself is a campaign for likes. They confuse visibility with significance. They believe that looking successful is the highest proof of having lived. They pour their energy into proving they are untouched by hardship, while ignoring the fact that they live in a world where hardship is never more than a twist of fate away. And then the tragedies of others become just more content to consume. They scroll past a headline about a flood, a protest crushed, a building collapse. Maybe they feel a pang, maybe they repost a hashtag, and then they go back to posting their own coffee photo. Their awareness becomes a performance, and their conscience gets buried under filters and captions. But here's the truth they never want to face. The only thing separating them from the people in those tragedies is luck. Pure, undeserved luck. Imagine this. They are on their phone watching a grainy video of a person trapped inside a car that's slowly disappearing under floodwater. The bridge collapsed because a contractor stole the money meant for its foundation. Corruption turned steel into paper, and now someone is dying. What do? They shiver at the thought of asking questions, because asking questions means taking a risk. It means pointing a finger at power, and that in their carefully protected world is not safe. So they don't. They move on. They forget. But the gap between them and the one gasping for breath in that underwater car isn't built on their cleverness or their hard work. It isn't built on their discipline or their good choices. It's built on nothing but fortune, the kind that can turn in a second. And when it does, they will wish someone had spoken. They will wish someone had cared. They will wish that the people watching their struggle from a distance had felt the risk was worth taking. But they have already taught the world to stay quiet, and the world will obey. There's a question Socrates asked the men of Athens, one that has survived over 2000 years. Are you not ashamed of caring so much for making money, for reputation, and for honors, while you care so little for truth and wisdom and the improvement of your own soul? He wasn't speaking to kings. He wasn't speaking to the rich alone. He was speaking to ordinary citizens, people who thought they were doing the sensible thing by avoiding trouble, by keeping their heads down, by staying in the good graces of the powerful. He saw in them what we see now, a population that believes safety comes from silence, that comfort is proof of success, that the appearance of being on the right side is enough to absolve them of the responsibility to speak or act. If Socrates were alive today, he wouldn't be in a sleek podcast studio with a sponsorship deal. He'd be standing in the marketplace, in our case, the digital one, questioning people not about their vacations or their possessions, but about the hollowness behind them. He would ask the one watching that video of a man trapped in a sinking car, why would you believe this cannot be you? And they would have no answer, because their belief is built not on reason but on hope and denial. Socrates knew something that modern life trains people to forget. When a society teaches its people to remain silent in the face of injustice, it is not preserving safety, it is dismantling it. The silence you give today is the silence you will receive tomorrow. Yet, modern life rewards the opposite. It tells people that the measure of intelligence is avoiding unnecessary trouble, that speaking out is reckless unless your own life is already burning, that minding your own business is wisdom. But Socrates didn't call that wisdom, he called it ignorance, a willful, cultivated ignorance, the kind that allowed Athens to sentence him to death for asking questions, while its citizens watched and said nothing, thinking it was safer that way. The irony is that many in his audience probably thought they were clever. They outlived him after all, but they also outlived the very spirit of truth they claimed to value. And a society without truth can't protect anyone for long. If people today are so obsessed with being seen as intelligent as wise as above the noise, then they should remember this. The man considered the wisest of all didn't survive by avoiding trouble. He survived in memory because he refused to. If all this is true, if indifference is a borrowed shield that will shatter the moment you actually need it, then what's left? First, understand this. No one is asking anyone to be a hero in every moment of their lives, but if people think they can only speak when the knife is already at their own throat, they have already surrendered their dignity to fear. Fear doesn't just make you quiet, it makes you predictable, and predictable people are easy to control. So here's what people can do, not someday, not in theory, but now. Find your people. A single voice is easy to drown out, 10 voices are harder, 100 can't be ignored. Don't just follow strangers online who agree with you. Know people, meet them, talk without the filter of an algorithm deciding what you hear. Real communities are built in living rooms, in corner cafes, in study circles, in whispered conversations that turn into public statements. Listen like your comfort depends on it, because it does. People shut down the moment they hear something that pokes at their worldview. They turn "I disagree" into "I refuse to listen," but the thing you refuse to hear today might be the warning you needed tomorrow. Call wrong wrong before it becomes normal. This is the hardest. It's also the one that will cost you something: money, friends, opportunities. But if people can't lose anything for the sake of the truth, then they don't get to complain when the truth is lost entirely. You don't get to stay silent for years, benefiting from the quiet, and then cry unfair when the same system finally turns on you. Because here's the bitter truth. Injustice has no loyalty. The same power that crushes someone else today can and will crush you tomorrow. Your silence doesn't buy you safety, it just buys you time. And when that time runs out, the only thing worse than suffering injustice is knowing you once had the chance to stop it and you chose to look away. So grow some courage, not the Hollywood kind, not the speech on a podium kind, but the daily, unglamorous kind. The courage to say, "This is wrong," when it's still small enough to be stopped. The courage to hear people who see things you don't. The courage to stand with others so you are not standing alone when the tide turns. Because when it does turn, and it will, the only question left will be, were you silent because you were safe, or silent because you were scared? One of those is a lie people tell themselves. The other is the truth they can't admit.